Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning. Right. You look out your bedroom window and you see what looks like this beautiful, delicate, pink-red snowfall.
Like rose petals.
Yeah, exactly, like rose petals dissolving in the winter air.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you might even laugh. You might step onto your porch, stick your hand out, catch a few of these crimson flakes on your phone camera, to post online.
Right, because it feels magical.
It feels totally magical.
Yeah.
Until you look a little closer at your neighborhood and you start to realize the town's dogs have just vanished.
Yeah.
The birds are completely silent. And then you see them, the blood trails.
Yeah, that is...
Bright red drag marks carving through the untouched snow in your neighbor's yard, and they just end abruptly. And these drag marks lead straight up the sides of the houses, disappearing onto the rooftops.
It is a profoundly unsettling image to visualize. And, well, it marks the exact moment when the illusion of safety in this isolated mountain town, Blackridge, shattered completely.
Right.
What we are looking at with this event is really a terrifying case study of what happens when human hubris unearths something older and, frankly, far more biologically advanced than recorded history.
So we are doing a deep dive today into the Blackridge incident. We've got a massive stack of source material here. Intercepted radio transmissions, classified documents, and the deeply disturbing personal logs of a Dr. Leon Mercer and a local resident named Emily Voss.
Which are just harrowing to read.
Absolutely harrowing. And our mission today isn't just to recap a tragedy. We want to figure out exactly how a supposed mining accident escalated into an apocalyptic biological event.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to really understand that blood snowfall, we have to look at the catalyst first. 3 days before those pink flakes ever fell.
Exactly. The timeline is crucial here. So 3 days prior, a massive explosion occurred deep inside Grayson Peak.
Right.
This was an excavation run by the Hollow Depth Mining Company, who were, ostensibly drilling beneath the mountain in search of rare minerals. And the official report released to the public claimed a tragic blast killed 14 workers instantly.
Right, officially.
Yeah, officially.
But when you actually look at the logs of the emergency response, the logistics make absolutely no sense.
No, they don't.
I mean, if a mine collapses in a remote mountain town, your first responders are local fire departments, local search and rescue, maybe the county sheriff.
Of course.
But that didn't happen. The records show military trucks arrived before sunrise.
Yeah, the speed was incredible.
They locked down the entire area, closed all the roads leading to Grayson Peak, and barred local authorities from getting anywhere near the site. I mean, why does the military beat local emergency services to a standard industrial accident before the sun even comes up?
It's highly suspicious.
It feels like a coordinated cover-up right from the jump,
Well, it's tempting to view it as this perfectly orchestrated conspiracy, but I actually look at that military response and see something else entirely.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Blind, unmitigated panic.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, because when you analyze the speed and the sheer clumsiness of that deployment, it doesn't suggest a calculated cover-up of a known asset. It suggests someone at Hollow Depth opened a door they didn't understand, saw something apocalyptic, and just slammed the panic button.
Just full panic mode.
Exactly. They brought the military in not to rescue people, but to put a lid on the mountain.
Right. So they locked the door on the mountain. But a locked door doesn't matter if the threat isn't walking out, right? It's floating out.
Floating, yes.
Which is exactly why that Tuesday morning is so devastating to read about. The crimson snow starts falling over Blackridge. The locals are filming it. They're assuming it's just harmless mineral dust kicked up from the explosion at the mine.
It's tragic, really.
It's exactly like tourists taking selfies in front of a rapidly receding ocean shoreline, completely unaware that a tsunami is just minutes away.
That is a perfect analogy.
And then Mayor Edith Holloway actually gets on the local broadcast and tells everyone to stay indoors until the weather improves. And she explicitly claims the snowfall contains, quote, harmless mineral residue.
Yeah, and that broadcast is just a masterclass in fatal pacification.
Wow. Fatal pacification.
Think about human psychology, right? We inherently want to believe the mundane explanation because the alternative is just too terrifying to process.
Sure, yeah.
So by providing a fabricated, scientific-sounding excuse, this mineral residue, the mayor ensured that the residents of Blackridge would stay exactly where the threat could reach them.
Because the dust wasn't just settling on their lawns, it was settling inside the residence.
Exactly.
And the transition from this, environmental oddity to a full-blown biological nightmare happens almost instantly in Dr. Mercer's hospital logs.
The speed of it is terrifying.
The animals disappear first. Dogs vanishing from backyards,
Yeah.
livestock gone, even the birds stop singing.
And the hunters in the woods.
Yes. Hunters out in the nearby forests finding those blood trails we mentioned earlier. Tracks in untouched snow that just end, with drag marks leading upward into the trees and onto rooftops.
Right.
And then the town's hospital completely overflows.
Because the symptoms presented by the townspeople were incredibly violent,
Yeah.
and they escalated at an unnatural speed.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, within 48 hours, victims were suffering from dangerously high fevers and these severe coughing fits. But they were expelling blood mixed with strange black fibers,
Oh, man.
fibers that resembled the roots of mold.
And I want to pause here, actually, because Dr. Mercer's logs, specifically his autopsy logs, they absolutely lost me here.
They are graphic.
Beyond graphic. He examines a miner named Caleb Dunn who died after just 2 days of symptoms. And Mercer notes Caleb's skin is this pale gray. His veins are completely blackened.
Yeah.
But his chest is still moving slightly after death.
It's just horrifying.
So Mercer opens the rib cage, and he finds these thick red fungal fibers pulsing like actual breathing organs.
Mhm.
And buried inside those pulsing fibers is a small, pale, blind, insect-like creature.
And it doesn't look like an insect, really.
No, it resembles a hairless spider made of human fingers.
Yes.
It actually screeches at Mercer and runs into a floor vent. Mercer throws up, which, I mean, I would too. But hold on. This is where the biology makes literally no sense to me.
Okay.
How does a microscopic fungal spore just grow a hand? I mean, spores don't have the DNA to make human fingers.
Well, that is exactly the right question to ask. What's fascinating here is that to understand this, we have to look at real-world biological parallels.
Like what?
Like the Ophiocordyceps, the famous zombie ant fungus, right?
Yeah, the one that takes over the ant's brain.
Exactly. That fungus infects an insect, alters its behavior, and basically consumes it from the inside out to grow a stalk and release more spores.
Right.
But the Blackridge organism represents a massive evolutionary leap beyond that. It doesn't just consume the host, it performs rapid horizontal gene transfer.
Okay, wait, what does that mean in this context?
It means the spores are biological architects, but they don't bring the building materials with them, they just bring the instructions.
Whoa.
So when the spore enters the lungs, which, by the way, provide a perfectly heated, oxygen-rich incubation chamber, it starts breaking down the host's cellular structure.
Oh my God.
And it repurposes the human DNA it finds right there. That's why the resulting creature has distinctively human anatomical features, like fingers.
That's insane.
It is literally knitting together a new mobile life form using Caleb Dunn's own genetic material.
Okay, that is an incredible aha moment for me. So the spore is essentially a microscopic Trojan horse.
Yes, exactly.
You breathe in what you think is just a bit of color dust,
Yeah.
but you're actually inhaling a hostile construction crew.
Right.
They unpack themselves in your lungs, tear down your own cells, and use your own biological bricks to build a monster inside you.
That's a great way to put it. And once those internal construction projects are finished, they have to exit the host. And that is when the internal biological infection evolves into an external town-wide siege.
And the siege requires isolation, which happens perfectly here. Suddenly, state authorities just completely ignore Mercer's frantic reports.
Yeah.
The internet drops across Blackridge. Phone signals vanish.
Complete blackout.
Total blackout. Power fails completely. The town is cut off in the dark. And I really want you, listening right now, to imagine being in that situation.
It's terrifying.
Sitting in your pitch-black living room, totally isolated, while the snow outside gets so thick that under the streetlights, the drifts actually look flesh-colored.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the personal diary of Emily Voss, which gives us this terrifying ground-level view of the blackout. At 2:13 a.m., Emily hears 3 slow scratches directly above her bedroom.
And her description of this is profoundly disturbing. She notes a heavy weight that actually bends the wood of her ceiling.
Bends the wood.
Right. Accompanied by the sound of wet sniffing and heavy breathing directly above her. And then the next morning, she finds footprints outside her house. And the biological blending is apparent again here.
How so?
The prints are almost human, but they're too long. And the toes end in deep claw marks. And crucially, they lead toward the forest, but no tracks ever return.
Right, because the ecosystem is shifted entirely to the rooftops.
Exactly.
So then the screaming starts in the northern neighborhoods. Emily looks out her window into the falling red snow, and she sees dozens of these pale, crawling figures moving across the houses.
Yeah.
And she sees something that genuinely made my stomach drop when I read it.
The creature under the light?
Yes. She watches one of these creatures under a flickering porch light, and it looks almost human from a distance.
Uh-huh.
But then it bends completely backward. Its spine cracks loudly, it folds onto all fours, and its chest just splits open vertically to drop smaller, pale creatures directly onto the roof.
And her neighbor screams.
Yes, her neighbor screams.
Yeah.
But I'm stuck on the physics of this. How is that physically possible without instantly paralyzing or killing the host body it was built from?
Well, it goes back to how the fungus manipulates human biology. To bend backward and split its chest like that, a standard human spine and rib cage would naturally shatter.
Right.
But the fungus secretes enzymes that rapidly decalcify the bone. It dissolves the ligaments.
Oh, wow.
So effectively turns a rigid human skeleton into a malleable, hinged structure. It alters the bone density on the fly so the creature can use its own torso as a deployment bay for its young.
It's turning human bodies into carrier ships.
Exactly.
That is horrifying. And right after she sees this, Emily hears knockings start inside her own walls. Tiny scratches moving through her ventilation ducts.
They're inside.
The breathing isn't outside anymore. Yeah, it's inside her house. And while this nightmare is unfolding for the residents, Dr. Mercer finally bypasses the firewall at the hospital and accesses Holodep's classified mining documents.
This is a massive turning point.
The truth of what triggered this whole thing comes out.
Right. Because the documents reveal that during their deep excavation, the miners breached an ancient subterranean ecosystem.
Not a mineral deposit.
Not at all. They found massive fungal structures, older than recorded history, attached to the cave walls like gigantic breathing organs.
And here is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
And honestly, absolutely infuriating.
Yeah.
The documents prove the explosion at the mine wasn't an accident at all.
No.
Someone at Hollow Depth ordered that blast intentionally to bury the cavern.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the sheer arrogance of that decision.
It's staggering.
It's like trying to put out a grease fire by hitting it with a fragmentation grenade. You don't extinguish the threat, you just weaponize it.
Right.
They atomized the fungus and blew the spores straight up the ventilation shafts into the atmosphere.
It is the ultimate example of applying conventional logic to an unconventional threat. This is why I lean toward incompetence rather than some grand conspiracy.
Okay, yeah.
They treated a highly aggressive ancient biological anomaly like a structural mining problem, you know? We found a bad cave, let's cave it in.
Right, construction worker logic.
Exactly. Construction worker logic applied to an evolutionary nightmare. And by doing so, they provided the fungus with a pressurized pathway straight to the surface.
And once it reached the surface, it didn't just survive, it took over.
Completely.
The final hours of Blackridge are absolute chaos. Dr. Mercer manages to rig an emergency radio on a backup generator. He gets exactly 30 seconds of transmission out before Scatic cuts him off.
30 seconds.
He screams into the mic, "The snowfall isn't weather! Don't breathe near infected!" And then you just hear tearing metal, screaming, and then silence.
And Mercer's broadcast is really the last coherent scientific warning to the outside world.
Yeah.
From that point on, Blackridge basically ceases to be a human settlement.
Yeah.
We see the climax of this assimilation in the final entry of Emily Voss's log.
Emily's final moments are so claustrophobic. Something heavy and wet lands on her roof. The breathing above her is described as enormous.
Enormous, yeah.
Her ceiling starts to bulge downward, the plaster is cracking, and this red-stained snow starts drifting into her bedroom through the fissures in the ceiling.
It's like the weather is inside now?
Yes. And then, dozens of pale fingers push through the ceiling right before the entire roof completely collapses.
And the entities that pour into her room represent the final stage of the event. Emily notes they are writhing together in this tangled mass of fungal flesh and human limbs. But there's a highly specific detail she observes right before the log ends.
The uniforms.
Right. Some of these creatures are still wearing pieces of hollow depth miner uniforms, and others look partially grown from the townspeople that were absorbed hours earlier.
It's a gruesome, organic recycling plant. The mountain isn't just killing the townspeople to eliminate a threat.
No, it's efficient.
It is actively recycling their biomass, their bodies, their nervous systems, even their clothes, to build its new ecosystem.
Yes.
And behind all these creatures pouring into Emily's room, she sees something else through the massive hole in her roof. A massive breathing shape watching from the rooftop, largely hidden in the falling red snow.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean? What's that thing? The queen.
Queen is a very good analog for it. The presence of a massive overseeing shape suggests a hierarchical structure to the fungal colony.
Like a hive.
Exactly, an apex organism that directs the expansion. It highlights the sheer scale of the ecological replacement here. The fungus doesn't merely kill its hosts and discard them.
Right.
It absorbs them entirely, integrating human physical traits and biomass directly into an expanding, interconnected fungal network. It takes everything we are and uses it to fuel its own terrifying biology.
Total replacement. Which brings us to the final haunting piece of evidence from that night. At 3:33 a.m., the very last radio transmission from Blackridge reaches the neighboring towns over an emergency frequency.
Yeah.
It's just a woman sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And she whispers a single sentence before the signal dies forever.
Right.
It's knowing people now.
It's a deeply poetic and unfortunately terrifyingly literal description of what the town had become.
Yeah.
And by the next morning, state and federal authorities moved in and permanently sealed every road leading toward Blackridge.
And the official reports that followed were entirely predictable. They blamed the entire event and the disappearance of the entire population on toxic chemical contamination from the initial mining explosion.
Right, a chemical spill.
According to the government, the area is simply a hazmat zone.
Yeah.
No survivors were ever recovered. Case closed.
Yet, the physical evidence we've reviewed contradicts the official narrative completely.
Completely.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we are forced to reflect on the terrifying resilience of ancient nature.
Yeah.
We walk around with the assumption that humanity is the undisputed dominant life form on this planet. But beneath the Earth, there are dormant biological systems that view us as nothing more than raw materials waiting to be harvested.
And here's the thing you really need to understand about all this. That harvest might not be contained at Grayson Peak,
No, it might not.
because the documents leave us with a few deeply unsettling modern-day facts. Satellite images taken weeks after the town was sealed off show strange, massive movement beneath the red snow covering Blackridge.
Right, shifting patterns.
Large shifting patterns crossing the rooftops at night. And even more concerning, during heavy winter storms, residents in neighboring areas miles away from the quarantine zone sometimes report seeing crimson snow falling in their own backyards.
And medical professionals who are quietly aware of the Blackridge event have strict, off-the-record protocols warning people never to touch those red flakes.
Never touch them.
Because when placed under a microscope, those flakes, miles away from the source, are not static.
No.
They still move. They are actively searching for a host.
So I want you to keep this in mind. The next time you hear a news report about a sudden industrial accident, followed immediately by an unexplained military lockdown and some local official telling you to just stay inside,
Yeah.
ask yourself, are you really getting the full story? Or is the official narrative just a smokescreen to keep you pacified while they figure out how to lock the door?
It's a vital question.
Because if satellite images are picking up shifting, living patterns on the roofs of a dead town, and if those microscopic red spores are already hitching rides on winter storms miles away while officials just shrug and call it chemical contamination,
Right.
how long until the wind shifts and that crimson snow starts falling on your roof?